Hi, this is Dr. Richard Ruling on the Total Health Channel, offering another video on end time events. This one is from Daniel 8th chapter. Arabs take Jerusalem. These are the headlines of an article that I'm posting also. U.S. coalition stomps Iran after that and becomes great. But Trump dies and a new world order emerges. This is all in the imagery of Daniel 8. And I think that we want to look at that. Hold on, I just want to start something here. Iran boasts of its ability to strike the U.S., even in a current article on WorldNet Daily. And they may get the first hit on Israel, but that's seen or suggested by Zechariah, the 14th chapter, when all nations are gathered against Jerusalem to battle. But a Western coalition comes from the West in the face of the whole earth. This is the words of the King James Version in Daniel 8, verse 5. It even says it touched not the ground, and we had the first historic air war against Saddam. A replay of history from the time of Alexander the Great when he conquered the Medes and Persians. But today, those Medes and Persians are Iraq and Iran, same geographical areas. And Gabriel tells Daniel in the 17th chapter that this vision is at the time of the end. Awesome thought that God can foresee the future, not just a couple hundred years from Daniel's time. You know, today we don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. Will Russia hit us? Will North Korea, or China? But God foresaw the future 200 years in Daniel's time, and actually 2 millennium to our time, when he says this is at the time of the end. Alexander the Great was not the time of the end, but he's clearly seen as the first king of Grecia. And we have a Grecian type of education. Our sororities and fraternities have Greek letters. We have Greek education where we all treat the mind, but we don't educate the body to do practical work. And anyway, after that, after we clobber the ram, the great horn breaks. And the horns in the Bible times were made from, the horns were used for trumpets. So the imagery could fit President Trump as the head of the Western coalition, but gets broken after America becomes great. It says the goat became great. So what's the imagery, though, then when 4 horns spring up? It says to the 4 winds, but it is a reference to the previous chapter where there are 4 animals, a lion with eagle's wings. This could be the UK with the US as a ally, a bear, Russia, and a dragon with horns. This was anciently Rome, and a little horn grew out of Rome, which was the papacy, and this imagery fits today. And ultimately, what this suggests, I believe, is that New World Order will be emerging because this little horn becomes exceeding great. In Revelation 17, the Pope is going to ride the New World Order beast. He's pictured as the harlot, false system of worship, basically, and committing fornication with kings, dressed in gold and decked and also in scarlet. Scarlet is the color of cardinals. Gold is it's a wealthy church. It's a mother of harlots because its daughters, churches, no longer protest the papacy. They get along just fine. And so we find that there are 50 to 100 million Protestants that were martyred in the Dark Ages. So the words "drunken with the blood of saints" fits the papacy, and for their heresy of not bowing to the Pope, really. One of the titles of the Pope is Lord God the Pope. You can check that out on Google. And the word Vatican means divining serpent. You can also check it on Google. But their strategy was to get control of Jerusalem. And Khadijah, a Catholic woman, married young Muhammad, arranged for his tutoring. And that explains the similarity between both religions, where Mary and Fatima. And the use of force in religion is used by both of those, Catholic and the Islam faith. When the Arabs got control of Jerusalem, though, they reneged on their promise in the mentoring, and they did not give Jerusalem over to the papacy. So then they were called the Holy Wars, and bad idea. Christ said, "My kingdom is not of this world," but when asked about the end of the world, Christ said to study and understand the book of Daniel. And one lesson from Daniel that we should see is that that Muslim ram was pushy. It was pushing north into Africa, Russia, south into Africa, and west to Europe and the New World, America. We're all feeling the push of Muslim immigrants, when really God's plan was not this at all. It's the Pope's plan. The Pope is really, you talk about Hegelian dialectic, where you create a problem and then you solve the problem. The Pope will be solving the problem, but right now it's a big problem with Macron, the president of France, gone missing yesterday. I haven't checked the news today, but Paris is in a mess with protests and total chaos. So thank you, Pope, for this great idea to accept the Muslims. Those who go along ultimately with the Pope and the New World Order system, though, will suffer the plagues for accepting a mark of in their right hand or forehead. It says in Revelation 13, last verses, verse 14 to 17. And so we should beware of what's coming. Study the Bible. It's the only book of light for the end times. And we're going to repeat history with impending judgment on the U.S., I believe, if we don't understand what's happening. And the Bible prophecy suggests that God's going to make a full end of all nations, because we're not learning from history. We've repeated those errors and are in deep bondage today to many problems. I'd like to suggest this book, which is really Destruction of Jerusalem, and how we might get a heads up from when it happens. I think next spring all nations will be gathered, just like Titus at Passover time surrounded Jerusalem. And if so, it's a signal for us, because a month later I believe judgment will fall, as in the days of Noah, on America. You can get that book today. This is December 8th, free on Amazon. If you Google my name in Amazon, search Amazon for Richard Ruling, spelled R-U-H-L-I-N-G. And the book Destruction of Jerusalem is free ebook. Okay, you can get a free app to read ebooks on your computer or phone, and it also saves the trees and postage. Why not do it and take a look? If I can be of any help, or if you can't afford or do the thing, send me an email and I'll send you the PDF of that book. My email is ruling, R-U-H-L-I-N-G 7 @juno.com. Thank you for giving it a look. God bless you in your quest for truth. Heads up for end times which are impending, and thank you for looking at this. If you liked it and found this interesting, please share with your friends. Ask them to take a look, send them a link or whatever. Thank you very much.